Good evening, everyone. I think this is one of the speediest videos that I'm making today. Um, I made one yesterday and uploaded, and thank you once again for your continuous support and very, very encouraging remarks and comments on each of these videos. I'm really thankful to you for the same. Today I have selected a very dear topic to myself, and that's extensive reading. Today we see no, I would rather say we see children, they are so engrossed in their mobile phones, either they are playing games or they are calling their friends or they are watching certain movies. And we hardly see any children, any young students who are addicted to reading instead. So that's a very sad state of affairs, and it sent my mind ticking as to where is the problem. Why are children not reading? There are such wonderful libraries in each of the schools where they're studying, and yet children are not utilizing this boon which has been given to them. Somewhere it's we parents and teachers who are responsible for this kind of behavior from children, because children they do not learn from you when you try to teach them something formally. The best way to teach a child is to set an example before them. Like, for example, in all our homes we do our religious ceremonies, or something like just lighting an agarbatti in the puja room and touching the feet of parents or the elders in the family. So when children see that as they grow, they start doing it on their own. You don't have to tell them go and touch so and so's feet or go and light a diya in the puja room, because they grow up with that and they learn it automatically. You do not have to teach them. Similarly, when it comes to reading, that also has to be presented to them in a practical form. Many children we've seen as of today, they do not learn to speak early in their lives. They take maybe 2 years or 3 years to learn to speak. That again is something which is quite frightening and scary, the scenario. And again, the reason for that is that the mothers are so busy in their own careers and other odd jobs that they do not have the time to talk to their own offspring. In our times when we were kids or when we had our children, we were told to speak to them right from day one. So you may use a cuddly kind of a voice, ka kalai baby, that can be, in the beginning. And as they grow, we can start reciting poems to them, we can start, poems to them, we can narrate stories to them so that they can relate to it. And you will see a miraculous change in their behavior. They start speaking correctly, and also it's always better to speak in a normal tone, because sorry, my throat is troubling today. So they learn the way you pronounce words. So this is a tip to young parents to start talking to their offsprings at the youngest of ages. Like, even as infants you can speak to them, and yes, children do understand. It's our misconception, we feel that they don't. This video may become a little longer, but I hope you'll bear with me. So now coming to the main topic, extensive reading. Now, why is it important? I'll tell you the benefits of extensive reading. I have some points here written with me. But before that, as I just said, sometimes we have to create an environment for reading. If I read a book when my child is young and impressionable, he or she will try to imitate me. Like girls, they stand in front of a mirror and they dress up the way their mothers do. Similarly, if we put other kinds of examples which we think are better enough for them, so then I'm sure children will follow suit. So conditioning or setting a condition, or to create an environment for them is very, very important. So coming to the first benefit of reading extensively, it is that students become better readers. Now, better readers means what? Their speed to read gets better. Their eye span gets better. I mean, in one glance, they'll be able to read more stuff or more words per second or per minute. So because as they grow up and as the syllabus gets wider and more difficult and complex, they have to read through subject matter, and if they take a long time in reading, then there'll be lesser time to comprehend and understand. So they become better readers for future. That is the first benefit. Second is they learn new vocabulary. Like rather than teaching them words, many schools do that. In the assembly, the word for the day is so and so, and then an example is given. But that is just one word a day. If we want to teach them new words in a larger number, then if they start reading, I'm sure they're going to learn new words, and meaning should not be taught to them by the teacher or by the parent. They must be trained to understand the meaning as per the context in which that particular word has been used. So then let them try at least, rather than simply saying that look up the dictionary and find a meaning. Try to make them comprehend on their own what a probable meaning of that particular word could be. So that's really essential. Then the third is that students, they improve their writing skills. Obviously, if you know a particular language more and your vocabulary is better, it's a larger field of vocabulary that a child possesses, obviously the writing skills will improve on their own. So they'll be able to use better expression and it's a tried and tested formula. All those children who have been reading extensively, their writings are absolutely wonderful. I have had students in the past who wrote so beautifully, I could not believe my eyes that a student of class 7 could write in such a wonderful manner. So the writing skills improve on their own. You don't have to work at making the writing skills better. The fourth is their overall language competence improves. That is everything. Their speaking skills, their writing skills, their eye span, their understanding, everything becomes better and better because they learn how to use newer words and how to use vocabulary to their advantage. So that was the fourth advantage. Fifth is the more you read, the more you crave to read. It's a kind of thirst. It's a kind of hunger that is created in a child's mind, and the more he reads, the more he wants to read. There was a time when I would finish 2 novels in a day and I was still not satisfied. It was such an interesting kind of an activity. So, of course, I'm definitely not trying to advocate the fact that children should not go out to play. Yes, they should. But then everything should have slots. There should be a time to read, there should be a time to go out to play, there should be a time to socialize with friends. It's not just reading. I'm not trying to advocate that you should make your children into bookworms. No, definitely not. That's not my idea or intention at all. So they become much better and more motivated to read. The best part about reading extensively is that students develop learner autonomy, that autonomy, whatever way you want to pronounce it. And this is something which is really, really important. Now, what does learner autonomy mean? It means that it is the learner's ability to or attitude to take charge of his or her own learning. So many times we've seen, and it's my own personal experience also, that many a times teachers fail to make a child understand something. But when they sit in their peer group and another friend tries to teach them, because now the perspective is different. A teacher teaches from his or her own level. But when 2 students talk together, they are at the same platform. So we see that they become their own teachers. I'm not able to understand something, my friend teaches me or she explains it to me. And when she's not able to understand, then I explain things to her. So this way we become independent, and also it gives a great lot of confidence to the child to understand the subject matter. And last but not the least, students learn to become empathetic. That is this very important quality of empathy, because when they read, they can relate to the characters of that particular story. And then it becomes easier for them to step into the shoes of that other person, which otherwise probably they will not be able to do. Now, the bigger question is how to make them read more and more, or you can say how to promote extensive reading. Like initially I said, we have to create an environment. So in class, what can we do is, we can have, some games initially. That it's something like spin a yarn, must have heard of it, that we start a story and then we tell the children to complete it. Not in writing form, because then it becomes, or it tends to become boring. So we call children, like we tell them, this is the beginning of the story, now you end it in a certain manner. Call 2-3 students and let them speak. Give them time to speak. So they will. This way, the other children who are listening, they will get to know that a particular story, the way it has been started, it can be ended or turned or molded into so many different ways. So here, when their creativity comes into the fore, then they feel very happy, they feel confident, and they feel satisfied that they could do something more creative. And this is what exactly we want. This is what we desire. So this way we can promote reading. And if we do that, if we are successful in creating this kind of an environment where reading is given a lot of importance and children actually get into reading, then we'll see a sea change in the understanding and the average academic level of our students. And that is what we want. We have to create responsible students for tomorrow, and there could be no better thing or no better hobby than extensive reading. So I hope parents and teachers will take my hint, and they will try to promote reading as much as possible. Before ending, just 2 words which I wanted to take up. One is QUIET and one is QUITE. Now, QUIET means silence. The teacher says keep quiet. But lots of times I've heard teachers and many other people saying keep quiet. It's not keep quiet. It is keep quiet. Quiet is, it's quite cloudy today. It was quite rude of him to speak in such a manner, to a certain level. So quiet is a certain degree to which a particular action was done. It's for a verb, or maybe it could be for an adjective also. And quiet is to maintain silence. Also, the second, I should say, the pair of words is beside and besides. Besides is other than something. I like maths besides science. Or silk is a good fabric besides cotton. Beside is somebody sitting next to you. My friend came and sat beside me. That is, she came and sat next to me. There were 2 people sitting on the bench beside each other. So beside is together, seated together or being together. And besides is other than. Other than this, another thing. So that was all for today. Thank you so much for watching patiently. I hope I've been able to create some flutter, and people are going to take up extensive reading as a hobby, and also encourage the students to take it up as much as possible. You'll see the difference yourself in near future, in good time. Thank you. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.